Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to sing a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. Aquadam.net. Give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, having to deal with the insurance company, not to mention the memories that are lost that you can never replace. To those who live in flood-prone and hurricane-prone areas, which is just around the corner, prepare now. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Visit Aquadam.net to see how they can help you prepare to avoid flood damage this season and every season thereafter. An Aquadam could be another tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. A cofferdam, using water to control water, that can protect your home, your business, your church, your neighborhood, like a dam, but without the beavers. Give Aquadam a call at 707-764-2119, 707-764-2119, or look them up online at aquadam.net. They're also on Facebook at Aquadam Inc., or call or email them today. They can help you out. Give them a call. Tell them Opperman Report sent you. Opperman Report. That's 10% off the price to anyone who mentions the Opperman Report.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. If you like the show, check out OppermanReport.com. I have some new stuff going up there at this interview I did with this gentleman who was lived with a cult for the majority of his adult life. He took all his possessions and stuff, worked for like a slave his whole life. $1 million worth of labor. It's going up in there. And it's, you know that show I've been playing, The So-Called Prophet of Pittsburgh? This is one of the guys who lived in that cult. I interviewed him quite a while ago, and we've been holding it back for a certain reason. But it's going up in the member section shortly. Also, too, all of those videos, interviews that I did the past few weeks on that live podcast I was doing on Thursday nights, I am no longer doing. Nobody could sign up to that website and get through. So what we're going to do is I'll just put those videos in the member section. I got like 4 of them. But that's it. I give up. Okay, I can't be, somebody's tech support. I have people contact me every 5 minutes. How do I log in? How do I log in? How do I log in? It's just too much of a headache. Let's see. As always, our archives are free, and you could find them at Spreaker.com. I got a show for you tonight. I want to tell you some stuff tonight that no one's talking about anywhere, and it's just the craziest story going on right before our eyes. But before I get to that, a little personal news. My daughter Victoria got her first year grade point average is a 3.8, successful grade point average, and she's gotten 2 internships, one with a congressional candidate and another one at a radio station. So she's doing really, really good. And this congressional candidate, who's in the House right now, they're really excited with her work, and I'm really proud of her. So take your hats off to good old Victoria there. Did a show last week. Let me tell you what I got coming up first. I was on Sean Atwood. Sean Atwood interviewed me, and he's playing it this week coming up on his YouTube channel. Now, and then what else do I have coming up? Ann Penn with her theory about the Zodiac Killer. Hank Harrison. Tape with Hank Harrison today. And I'm taping this week, in fact, Sunday I'm taping. With Charlotte Iserbyt, who wrote that book, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, and she was like the head of the Department of Education, I think, under Reagan or something like that. So there's a lot of good content coming up. You can always count on good old Ed Opperman to put in the work. Last week I did a show called Out of Shadows, Out of Your Depth. And I got a huge response to that show. It was basically about that new documentary film that came out by this guy Mike Smith, who was a stunt man, And I gave my critique and my personal information about the things he's talking about, my firsthand work on some of these cases. And it struck a nerve with quite a few people. Most people agreed with me. In fact, I don't think I got one dissenting opinion. And I was contacted by a very well-known YouTuber who knows all these characters. He knows Cronkite. He knows the CIA guy that was on there. And he knew about the production of this film, and other people were involved in the production of this film. And he wanted me to come on a show, or he wanted to come on my show and do an interview. I kind of turned it down because he's like a controversial figure who seems to get into disputes, a lot of public disputes with people. So the last thing I need is, to join myself with this gentleman, and then find, a week later he's attacking me for some reason. He's upset with me now. Okay, so I don't need that. But it was just interesting that he knows these people firsthand, and he can confirm my conclusions about them, and he would know. Okay, so I was talking about Out of the Shadows, and in Out of the Shadows, one of my main complaints was the inclusion of Rudy Giuliani as someone who would be a source of anti-pedophilia. And one thing that I forgot to include is you got to look up Rudy Giuliani's current. She's not a spokesperson. She's a director of communications for Giuliani's law firm. And it's a young lady who's an Instagram star. These are her main credentials. She's an Instagram star. And her name is Christiane Allen. Okay, and if you just Google Christiane Allen, Giuliani will pop up right next to it, and you'll see all the articles that came out about this young lady who got involved in this right-wing conservative politics at the age of 15 years old. And she became Rudy Giuliani's director of communications at 19 years old, with her only background being that she was an Instagram model. And if you read, there's a couple of articles out there, political and stuff like that. You want to check them out. And you'll see this young lady on boats and yachts with Mr. Giuliani and hanging out in bars and restaurants with the glasses that appear to be wine in front of her and things like that. So interesting choice of company for both Mr. Giuliani and this young lady, who's my daughter's age, by the way. I mean, in fact, my daughter might be older than her. Okay. And, my kid's a sharp kid. She's not qualified to be director of communications. All right. Now, speaking of Giuliani, speaking of Rudy Giuliani, we got something going on here. Right under our noses. Okay? And I think it's the story of the decade. And how it goes like this. That everyone knows about this failed invasion attempt this week. Maybe not everybody knows. Of these guys trying to pull off an amateur coup in Venezuela. And a lot has come out that two of the guys were ex-Green Berets and one guy was an ex-DEA agent. And that's pretty much it. Chuckle. Look at it, there, a little invasion attempt, a little coup attempt there where they're going to go down there and kidnap Maduro and bring him back, collect this reward, this $55 million reward that Mr. Barr put up for the president of a sovereign nation. All right? But nowhere, well, hardly nowhere, are people talking about the deeper connections in all this. It's a fascinating story. Now, everything I'm giving you, about 90% of what I'm giving you today is all open source information that you can find in publications. Some of it's in Spanish. And I was able to decipher because some of it was sent to me by Doug Valentine, who wrote the book about the Phoenix program. Okay? It kind of starts like this. Okay. Now, and now the timeline of this part, I'm a little sketchy on. But we know for a fact that Rudy Giuliani, Mr. Trump's personal attorney, went out and picked up a client who is known as a Venezuelan energy executive, Alejandro Betancourt Lopez. And he hired Giuliani because he was having some problems with the U.S. Justice Department. They were investigating him for money laundering, for laundering drug money. $1.2 billion in drug money. Okay? So Mr. Betancourt Lopez is being investigated, and he goes right to the top. Let me hire the President of the United States. I'm the biggest drug launderer in town. Let me hire the best lawyer who happens to be the President of the United States lawyer. Later on down the road, in late 2018, it comes out that Mr. Giuliani, the president's attorney, at the facilitated by who's this guy? Pete Sessions, right? Congressman Pete Sessions facilitates a phone call between Giuliani and Maduro, the president of Venezuela, where Giuliani, sources say, representing business interests, not the USA interests, business interests, tries to work out a deal with Maduro to leave office, assuming, there was a cash offer. Who knows what other offers were made or threats were made. And now it's interesting that Rudy Giuliani, acting as he's the president's personal attorney in some bizarre capacity. Okay. Just like Mr. Cohen. But he's president's personal attorney, and he's negotiating in this quasi foreign policy capacity, trying to get a sovereign nation's president to step down, an elected president, on behalf of certain business interests. And we know that one of his clients is a Venezuelan energy executive alleged to be laundering $1.2 billion drug money. Okay? Now, by the way, Rudy Giuliani's personal motivations for this negotiation conflicted with our stated public national foreign policy that was being run by Mr. Bolton at the time. Remember the guy with the mustache? Okay. Fast forward. We got a global pandemic. There's a global pandemic. Everybody got to wear masks. You got to stand 6 feet apart. You go to 7-Eleven, they got plastic being put up all over the place. Selling, but footprints. Stand here, don't get too close. Arrows on the floor in the supermarkets. Got to walk this way. Got to walk that way. Ventilators. We need ventilators. Right? Listen to Mr. Cuomo there. Right? Global pandemic. Pretty serious business. But not so serious that Mr. Barr, U.S. Attorney General, doesn't have time to lay out these indictments against President Maduro, sovereign nation, duly elected president, and lay out some indictments alleging drug smuggling, conspiracy, and all these kind of crimes against him and 10 of his top people. We got time for that. It's a pandemic. It's a pretty serious business. Shut down the whole economy. But we still got time to go after these 10 big drug dealers. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people out there will say, oh, Ed, you're just bashing Mr. Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome. Okay? And you're always bashing Mr. Trump. Not one word I've told you up till now is inaccurate. It's all public source information. Nobody's denying it so far. This week, a group of characters, okay, launch an operation. 50 guys, by the way, okay, 50 mercenaries. And then there was supposedly another 50 state guys that were in Venezuela, embedded in Venezuela. Fifth columnists, they call them. A seaborne assault group, and it's codenamed Operation Gideon. And from neighboring Colombia, they launch a naval assault using these Zodiac boats, these rafts. And they're gonna go in there, 100 guys tops, right? And they're gonna go in there and they're gonna capture Maduro and bring him back to the United States and collect $55 million in reward, which was being offered by Attorney General William Barr, who, by the way, we should all know, got his start in the CIA. His first job in government was CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. It is rumored and alleged and confirmed by many, many people that he was up to his neck in Iran-Contra. Okay? Iran-Contra, drug smuggling, right? When I went there, Barry Seal. Done 100 shows about that, right? That's William Barr. But William Barr's has seen the light. Now he's going to shut down drug smuggling, international drug smuggling. He's against it now. Okay? All right? And it's indictments against these Maduro, these nasty socialists. I'm going to take them down. Now, this was a total failure. This operation was a total disaster, total failure. As a matter of fact, the second launch of these the sea-bearing pirates, in their little inflatable rafts, was put down by a group of local angry, irate fishermen. Took on these guys. Local fishermen see these boats coming at them, these mercenaries, and they take them down. Yes, fishermen. Maduro comes out successful in putting down this coup attempt, this kidnapping attempt, and he goes on TV and he holds up U.S. passports of 2 ex-Green Berets and a retired DEA agent. He says things like the United States government is fully equipped, is fully and completely involved in this defeated raid, and they went on to blame Colombia as well. Now, one of these captured Green Berets, a man by the name of Arian Perry, A-I-R-A-N, Berry, B-E-R-R-Y, turns out was a follower of QAnon on Twitter. There's a gentleman in all this that put this whole thing together, named Goudreau. And Goudreau owned a Florida-based company called Silvercorp USA. And both Barry, the QAnon guy who was captured, and the other American captured, Luke Denman, both worked as private contractors under Goudreau and his Florida company, Silvercorp USA, as security guards, private security, mercenaries, hired guns for Silvercorp USA. As bizarre as it sounds, Silvercorp USA was first created in order to provide, how do they describe this? Counter-terror agents to schools in the United States. Undercover guys pretending to be teachers working at these schools in case shooters come and attack this, student shooters, school shooters they call it, right? They're planting undercover mercenaries in schools in case a school shooter